What is good, YouTube? This your boy Aaron. Oh shit, Brian. I didn't know you were shit, Brian. Well, while Brian is still getting connected real quick, we are starting off the NFL podcast. Thank you guys for joining. We're gonna be talking about the AFC South division. This is gonna be interesting.
Why can't I hear anything?
This is gonna be interesting. I can hear you, Brian, by the way. Let me make sure my mic is on. Yeah. I think my mic is on.
Hold up.
Let me see. Audio. Yeah, my mic is on.
All right. I'm ready. I'm back.
Mic. Yeah, all right. Can you hear me? We good?
Yeah, we good.
Okay. So, like I was saying, AFC South division. We have the Colts, we have the Titans, we have the Jaguars, and we have the Colts, Titans, Jaguars. I'm missing a team. Regardless, Texans. Regardless, so yes, those four teams. The division isn't all that great, but we're gonna still get through it, just like with the NFC South. Let's start off with the Texans. The Texans, they have made some very interesting moves this offseason. I will say that. NFL draft and free agency. So let's get to the Texans. All right, our lads. Let's see. All right.
Very interesting team the Texans are.
Yeah, because you got to remember they traded Laramie Tunsil, their top offensive lineman, when they didn't
freaking Commanders of all teams.
They didn't really have a good offensive line. So here we go. Stephon Diggs, he went to New England, and who else? Oh, they drafted Jaden Higgins as well, which I actually like that pick. They needed another wide receiver considering what happened to.
They signed Christian Kirk.
Yeah, they signed Christian Kirk as well. That was another good one. That's another good one. So here's their depth chart. The offensive line, which is I don't know what to say. I don't know why they lack. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, my main concern for them is obviously everyone's main concern, which is offensive line.
Yeah,
because they haven't been a good unit. They was terrible last year, actually. And still managed to win the playoff game, but they was just bad on the offensive line blocking. CJ Stroud was fighting for his life back there, trying to have to make super quick decisions, which also led to bad throws and misreads and things of that nature. They got rid of their top offensive line player, which there be Tunsil. They did replace him with Cam Robinson. I'm not sure what to think about that. And they also got Laken Tomlinson after they shipped off Kenyon Green to the Eagles, who was such a disappointment. But I was so high on Kenyon Green coming out of A&M, and he just didn't pan out. But I don't know, man. That's my main concern, man. Like, offensive line, you got to be able to block. And their running back room is a little old. I'm not going to lie. Joe Mixon and Nick Chubb, maybe like 3-4 years ago, this would have been a super elite, but nowadays it's kind of like, Joe Mixon is good when he plays, but they need a little more juice in that running back room.
You think they should have drafted a running back in the draft? Yeah.
Probably like later rounds,
Yeah.
We would have took a flyer on one of those young guys. There was plenty of options for him.
Literally, there was.
Yeah, wide receiver. I'm not really too worried about the wide receiver core. They got Jaden Higgins. Obviously Nico Collins is a dog. Christian Kirk, good veteran guy, really good out of the slot, can give you 900 yards out the slot. I really have no problem with their weapons. It's just like their offensive line is really going to determine everything. I do think they could have got another tight end. I'm not a big. I mean, Jordan Brevin is I think he's solid. I'm not a huge Dalton Schultz guy, and it's not because he left the Cowboys. It was throwing dirt on the org. I don't think like he's a catch the ball, go down guy. Like he provides nothing after the catch. And yeah, so That's how I'm feeling with the Texans. I have no defensively. I have no qualms or reservations with the their defense is going to be phenomenal.
You like the secondary for the defense?
Secondary, they did sign C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Yep.
They got
Derek Stingley, he's still there.
Kamari Lassiter had a really good rookie year. Kalen Bullock, I'm not too sure about
Jalen Petrie.
Petrie, I like Petrie. He's good.
So you think secondary is pretty solid.
Defense, yeah.
And in the front seven, I mean, you have Will Anderson, you have Daniil Hunter. What about the D tackles? Do you like Tim Settle? Do you like
that's the position where I'm kind of skeptical. Yeah, because I'm not. I know they got Sheldon Rankins, but they got him listed as like a backup.
Yeah,
they got Mario Edwards Jr., who I'm familiar with, but
yeah,
the interior could it could
be better. Okay,
I guess from a name standpoint, these dudes could be really good, and I just haven't been watching no film on them. So. But I like the running. I like the linebackers. I like Azeez Al-Shahir. I like Henry To'o. They got EJ Speed from the Colts, which is funny because that's a division rival. But yeah, I like the Texans defense. I'm glad I drafted them in Dynasty. I picked them up in my Dynasty league because they're gonna eat.
You know what? I want to show you something that I would say is a great sign for the Texans to come. Mainly their offense. I want to show you something real quick. Your boy Bobby Slowick, remember he's gone.
They got rid of that terrorist Bobby Slowick who was hindering the offense.
So they bring in I think it was the passing game coordinator Nick Caley from the Rams, and now he's with the Houston Texans. So here's a quote that I think you're gonna love. It says that Caley's system will allow CJ Stroud to take control of the offense at the line of scrimmage, which they did not do under Slowick.
Oh, that's interesting.
It says taking control and being a little more pre-snap, having tools to put my guys in the best position. This is something that we really didn't work on these last 2 years. That's what Stroud said. So I'll be able to put my swag on it, have fun with it. He says, he is also about me taking full ownership, running the show, and that's what I want. Interesting.
I did not know that's how Bobby Slowick's offense was, where the QB didn't have much control at the. Isn't Bobby Slowick Shanahan guy?
Yes,
makes sense.
I was listening to some radio guys at Houston talk about this, and they said that maybe Bobby Slowick is too much to the book. You know what I mean? Like, this is what the book says, so we're going to do it according to the book. And CJ Stroud was like, well, yeah, that's what the book says, but how is that going to help against this coverage? There was also this idea that maybe Slowick just doesn't have a natural feel for the Shanahan offense compared to other guys like the Packers head coach or some other dudes. What's his name?
The Miami Dolphins coach?
No, not Mike. Well, yeah, him, but also the Vikings as well.
Kevin O'Connell.
So those type of guys have like more of a natural feel.
Yeah.
Exactly. So maybe Bobby Slowick didn't have that natural feel like those other guys do when it comes to the Shanahan West Coast system. So this is going to be great. It's going to be great to see. I like hearing that. I like that they're going to allow CJ Stroud to progress as a quarterback, to allow him to give him more range to do what he wants to do at the line of scrimmage, and he doesn't have to be beholden of the play calling all the time.
Yes.
If he sees something that he doesn't like, he can change it. He can audible. That's great. That's going to help with his development. So I like the Texans offense. The only problem is going to be the offensive line. That's the only problem. But I think with the new OC and the fact that he's going to give CJ Stroud more freedom to change the line of scrimmage, I think CJ Stroud will be able to cover up some of those things that he couldn't cover up in the past because of Bobby Slowick. Bobby Slowick would put CJ, you mentioned this before. Bobby Sloak will put CJ Stroud in bad circumstances when he knows that the offensive line is terrible.
Yep.
Nope. Like, why aren't we doing more quick passes?
Basic runs on first and second down, put you in third and long, and with the bad offensive line, and they just send the dogs. Yeah, it's going to be a disaster 9 times out of 10.
Right. And I was reading something about his lack of in-game adjustments. So, why the reason he was fired. So yeah, I like the addition of Kaylee to this offense. I like his expertise coming from the Rams tree.
Yeah.
Right. So I think he'll, just on that alone, I think he helps this team tremendously. But we'll see. Got to watch preseason. We have to see the regular season to really know. But just projecting, I think he'll be fine. I think they'll work better offensively, even though they won a playoff game, despite the fact that they had the circumstances. But, yeah. Moving on, I want to get to the let's see. I want to get to the Jaguars. Here's another team that they shuffled some stuff. They have a new head coach. They finally fired Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson, he dug himself
last year.
Hey, Doug Peterson, he digged his own grave by having Press Taylor be the offensive coordinator for that long. So I'm glad that he is finally out of there, because what they were subjecting Trevor Lawrence to was damn near a crime. But yeah, not the best display of offensive and defensive talent. I'm not gonna lie. Let me show my screen real quick, the depth chart. So as we know, they drafted Travis Hunter. They gave up all those first round picks to move up to get Travis Hunter, which I thought was a mistake. But anywho, De'Ami Brown is their second best receiver. Brian Thomas Jr., who's a legit stud. No question about that. And then it gets a bit muddy. The offensive line is still I'm not too comfortable with that offensive line just yet. Their tight end position, Brenton Strange, I heard
he got it going a little bit towards the end of the year, but nothing that you can be like we can rely on consistently. Johnny Munt, they signed. I seen him. I remember him. He was stealing catches from T.J. Hawkinson on the Vikings last year, and I was getting upset at him. But he's a solid backup. It's just I don't know. The Jags are still a year or two away from making some real noise, which is a shame because you paid Trevor Lawrence all that money. He's gonna be up for a new contract by the time y'all ready to try to compete.
Yeah, that offense is gonna be. I will say though, let me see if I can find this real quick. I like the addition. Yeah, the defense. But I want to get to the offense real quick. I do like the fact that they hired Liam Cohen as the head coach. And I'm thinking that he's going to have a lot of input on the offensive scheme. Maybe he might call plays. I hope he calls plays, because I need to show you something that really caught my eye. Let me see. Share my screen. Here we go. So this is advanced analytics on rushing from last year, and this is rushing yards after contact per rush. Guess who's number one?
Derrick Henry?
No. He's number 2.
Tank Bigsby?
Yes. Tank Bigsby is number 1 rushing yards after contact. And guess his yards per carry is actually pretty good. He's 4.6 yards per carry. He only had 160-something touches last year, 160 carries. So imagine in Liam Cohen's system, who had where's Bucky Irvin? He was number 4 in rushing yards after contact, and he had over 1,100 yards rushing. That's Bucky Irvin, the rookie running back for them. He only started 3 games for them last year, and they also had Rashad White as well. Rashad White was 5.
Dang.
So you bring in a guy that completely changed just the running scheme for the Buccaneers, made them an elite running team. And now you're bringing him to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who was struggling a bit running the football. But when I show you these advanced analytics in regards to Tank Bigsby, this is going to be great. This is going to be great for Tank Bigsby. This is going to be, I don't know about Travis Etienne. That's a different story. But Tank Bigsby, who 4.6 yards per carry, 700 yards rushing, only 168 carries. And on average, when it comes to runs after contact, he's the highest per average.
So what you saying? Invest in Tank Bigsby come fantasy. Salute.
I'm not saying
you revealed your strategy. I'm on to you now. There was a big mistake showing me that stat.
I really don't care. But regardless, I like the Jags running game this year because of Liam Cohen. I think he's going to bring a dimension that they were missing, and that's going to help Trevor Lawrence a lot.
They got Bayshaw Tutton too. Oh, he's nice.
Tank Bigsby, his stock is going to rise tremendously because of Liam Cohen. They're going to add a different dimension to that running game that they never had before, that Doug Peterson couldn't bring out. And I like the running game. Now, the passing game, I don't know. That depends on Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion. I think Trevor Lawrence. I
feel you could scheme these dudes open though.
I was listening. I was listening to some Jags people on the radio, and I didn't know this, but this one guy, he's been hearing different things from insiders that are maybe close to Trevor Lawrence, saying that his work ethic isn't the greatest. He gives the bare minimum.
Oh,
so I was like, whoa, I never heard that before. That's a big concern because when you look at his tape, it's pretty average. It's pretty mediocre. So I'm looking at Trevor Lawrence. It's really going to come down to him. I don't know if Liam Cohen, whatever he can do, scheme up. I just think it's going to come down to Trevor Lawrence when it by all means, it's going to come down to Trevor Lawrence for me because I've heard it. He even said it. He needs to work on his footwork. It's not the greatest. I just think that's going to boil down to Trevor Lawrence. But I like Liam Cohen with the running. I think the running's going to be great. The rushing attack is going to be great. I'm not concerned about that. But you mentioned defense. What do you like about the defense?
They got names. Like they signed Jordan Lewis, who is an underrated slot corner in my opinion. I watched a lot of Cowboys because I am a Cowboys fan. So he was a standout year after year. He would be the most consistent player on the defense in that secondary for most of the year. So I really like that addition. Darnell Savage, he's solid. Tyson Campbell was an underrated corner in my opinion as well. Then they also got like, what'd you say?
You mentioned Darnell Savage.
I said he's in.
He's
I know you know all about it.
He's pretty mid. He's pretty mid.
All about it. They did draft a safety though. Oh, how could I forget? They got Travis Hunter in the secondary.
Yeah.
How
much he's going to play?
I don't know what they're going to do, and we're going to have to see. But like linebackers, I like Devin Lloyd.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen, of course.
Yeah.
Trayvon Walker, he's starting to put it. I think he's starting to get a little better. He actually did more than he did his rookie year.
Absolutely, he had 10 sacks. But like one of the guys,
still a good run defender.
One of the Jags people that covers the team was saying that he's a bit overrated. That team, if you're a Jags fan, you should be worried if the Jags give him a bunch of money, like over $100 million, because he's not worth that money, because he's not as good as you would think the numbers suggest he is. if you watch the film. If you take away the sacks, just look at the pressures. It's terrible. He has one move that works, the bull rush, I think it is. After that, he's cooked.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I don't know, because I said the same thing about this defense last year. I said I liked them on paper, and they just played terrible. So who knows at this point? I don't know. The Jags are such an interesting team. I can't really put my faith into this defense after what they showed last year. But I think who's the defensive coordinator? Anthony Capinow?
I've never heard of this guy. Never heard of him.
We don't have to see.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of this defense too much. Like the interior defensive line.
I can't really I don't really know these people they drafted outside of Travis Hunter on the defense.
I'm not really a fan of the second. I mean, I understand you're trying to be all positive, but I'm not really a fan of the secondary. Like once you take out Travis Hunter, because I don't think Travis Hunter is going to play a whole lot of snaps as a corner. I think he might play maybe 20 or 30 snaps as a corner. I don't think that's enough. Because you remove Travis Hunter, that secondary, especially the cornerback position, outside of Tyson Campbell, good luck.
You not a Jordan Lewis believer? Turn on the tape.
No. Slot corner, yes.
Oh, okay.
But
you mean the other outside corner?
Other guys, oh my gosh! And Tyson Campbell, wasn't he hurt a lot of the year last time I checked?
I want to say he was dealing with injury. I don't know who Jerrion Jones is or Jerrion Jones. Yeah, who the heck is that guy?
I don't know. But regardless, what about the like Eric Armstead? He's projected to be a backup to Mason Smith. He's getting up there in age, so I guess Eric Armstead he's not the same player he once was, and I think he's been dealing with injuries.
Oh, they signed Emmanuel Ogba. I remember.
Yeah. I'm not really too much of a fan of this defense. I mean, they could be middle of the pack. I just think this team boils down to the offense at the end of the day. That's where I'm at. I don't think this team can be carried by their defense. Trevor Lawrence is going to have to make things happen, because if he doesn't, this team is going to falter. Like, they're going to fall down to the wayside. They're going to be another bad season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we'll see how things go. I want to move on to the Titans. Cam Ward. This is another team where I like what the coaching staff is saying regarding Cam Ward, what their plans are for Cam Ward. I saw a clip. I think it was Brian. Is it Brian Callahan? That's the coach?
Yeah.
Brian Callahan, he's the coach. He was talking about their plan for Cam Ward, what exactly they want to do. And he mentioned that just like with Burrow, just like with Jaden Daniels, how you bring in a top prospect at QB and you're developing this QB. He said he wants to make it like when he was starting at Miami, but now it's his second year starting in Miami. So pretty much he wants to bring a lot of the same concepts to the Titans so that Cam Ward can be comfortable. It's not going to be a hard adjustment for him to make. So adjust to the player that you have. That's great coaching.
Okay.
Don't tell your player, no, you have to adjust to my scheme. No. What is he great at? And we'll build around what he's great at. That's what I like to hear. I think it's going to be a progress, obviously, for Cam Ward. But I do like hearing what Brian Callahan said in regards to their plan for Cam Ward. I think he'll have success. They invested into the offensive line. They brought in some guys. They put a lot of money into their offensive line.
Moore, Kevin Zeitler.
Yeah. Kevin Zeitler is a huge one. So, yeah,
they got young guys. They got young guys on the line, too. They got Peter Skoronski. They drafted J.C. Latham last year, so this will be his second year development.
I like their tight end, too.
Yeah, I like Chig.
I like Chig. We'll see how Tyjae Spears and Tony Pollard is.
Yeah, exactly. Tony Pollard had a pretty solid season. They got on receiving, and they got Calvin Ridley, he's no slouch. They got Tyler Lockett, veteran experience. He's going to know where to be and when to be there. Good for a rookie QB. Van Jefferson is,
he's meh.
But
he's
they also
3
got
or 4.
Yeah, they did draft Eric Ayomanor from what school did he go to? I forgot, but he's a solid. He was a pretty decent day 2, maybe borderline day 3 guy. But I don't hate it. I think this is you can make some shake a little bit as far as developing the QB.
You can win some games in this division with that level. It's not the greatest talent, but just hearing what I'm hearing about Brian Callahan and Cam Ward's skill set, they could potentially do damage in this division. I really like what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing from the Tennessee Titans, and he's been kind of overlooked a little bit. Not a lot of people are talking about Cam Ward, mainly because of Shedeur Sanders. But
yeah,
let me ask you this, because I want to bring up this question because I'm very curious. Let me see if I can find the question. Can Cam Ward have a similar rookie season to Jaden Daniels and CJ Stroud?
I mean, in theory, he could, but I don't think so. I just don't see like that. Those are special seasons. Like them seasons, like those are like rarities. The fact that happened back-to-back years is nuts. I like Cam Ward, but he's not as a prospect. He's just not on the level that Jaden Daniels or CJ Stroud was, with all due respect. And I feel like they went into situations where it was more tailored for them. I know you said what you said about Brian Callahan. He's going to make the offense more like it was in Miami for him. So that adjustment period is more, that transition is smooth into the league. But I feel like the other teams just had more to work with. Besides maybe, Jaden Daniels and, outside of Terry McLaurin, receiving options was kind of meh.
But if you remember correctly, the Texans situation. When CJ Stroud came into the Texans, we thought this was a horrible situation. We thought the talent level was just terrible. Remember Nico Collins? We didn't know Nico Collins was going to be that great. We knew the other guy from who came from Houston, I think it was Tank Dell. We knew Tank Dell was pretty good. We knew that was a steal. But outside of that, we didn't think much of the Texans offense. And defensively, Will Anderson, he was pretty decent. We knew that, obviously, when you go number 2 in the draft. Number 3, I think it was, in the draft. But there was still skepticism about that Texans team
as well.
Yeah, they had Stingley as well. Yeah, you were high on Stingley. But there was still a lot of skepticism regarding that team.
True. I mean, anything could happen. But I just don't see. I don't see like Jaden Daniels made the NFC Championship game, so
that's true.
The Titans be lucky to make the playoffs.
I'm just saying maybe they could make the playoffs, especially in this division. How weak this division is.
Oh, it's definitely not out of the question.
That's why I said. Could they have like a similar type? Could he have a similar type of season where he's able to get his team to the playoffs and he's able to have a really good rookie season?
Honestly, when you look at on the talent side of things, it's not really much of a gap between them and the Jags. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
So if the Jags can make the playoffs, shoot, they could make the playoffs.
What about their defense? What do you like about their defense? I like their defensive line, specifically their tackles.
Tavondre Sweat and Jeffrey Simmons, Big Jeff Simmons, and they got Carlos Watkins is man, but they got Sebastian Joseph Day, Arden Key. Oh, they do got L'Jarius Sneed on the back.
Yeah, still got L'Jarius Sneed. Yeah,
and Amani Hooker. He can play. Xavier Woods is
Yeah.
Roger McCreary.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, the talent gap isn't much different than freaking Jacksonville. So I think Big Jeff Simmons is a top 2D tackle in the league.
And Sweat is really good too.
Yeah, Tavondre Sweat is really good. So I mean, I think they can make something shake a little bit,
And I think Calvin Ridley this year, as much as I doubted Calvin Ridley, As much as I praised him in the past, mainly because I had him in fantasy, I do think with Cam Ward, he will be a lot better. He could potentially have a Terry McLaurin type season that we saw last year with Jaden Daniels or Nico Collins with CJ Stroud. That could potentially happen. So I wouldn't be surprised. He is a bit older, but as we saw with Terry McLaurin, even though he's gotten up there in age, he still has ability. And I think Calvin Ridley, he had 1,000 yards again this season. Although
I think
17, although in 17 games, you have to put a little asterisk in that because 17 games to get 1,000 yards, not that hard.
He did have Will Levis or whoever the heck they had throwing the ball to him.
Right. He hasn't had the greatest talent. I'll say that much. And the greatest schemes as well, because when he was with the Jags, we saw with Press Taylor and them how bad that scheme was. So now that Cam Ward is at the helm, I wouldn't be surprised. The way that Cam Ward has been talking about Calvin Ridley, I think he said Calvin Ridley's a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL even before he was drafted. So I mean, if he's saying stuff like that, I can only assume that he's really going to prioritize Calvin Ridley when they play the first regular season game. So I like it. All right, let's go to the Colts. Ooh. That's all I gotta say. Ugh. The Colts. I got a lot of love to say for the Colts, though. I got a lot of love for the Colts, despite their QB situation. I really like their team overall, besides the QB. Let's break this down real quick because I was looking at their PFF grades. So they let go of 2 of their starting offensive linemen, but when I was looking at PFF, the guys that are replacing the 2 starting offensive linemen are actually pretty decent. So let's look at this. So as we all know,
was it Ryan Kelly they let go?
Yeah, Ryan Kelly and somebody else.
And the right guard, I believe. Yeah, it was the right guard, whoever that was. I forgot his name.
They have a really good offensive line.
Yes, they do.
Bernhard, Raymond, and Quentin Nelson are fantastic.
I like Braden Smith too.
Braden Smith is also good. All these guys are really good. They're going to have a good offensive line. They have the weapons. They have Michael Pittman Jr.
They have a lot of. They got freaking Tyler Warren, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, Michael Pittman, and A.D. Mitchell. If Anthony Richardson cannot get it together, I'm going to be very disappointed. Because you know how many QBs would dream of having these type of weapons? Are you kidding me?
That's a fact.
And they got a good running game. You got Jonathan freaking Taylor.
And look at their defense. The defense is not bad either. DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart. I didn't know Grover Stewart was good. I looked at his PFF grade. I was like, yo, this dude is pretty good. And then remember last year they drafted Latu. He's really good for a rookie.
They got Zaire Franklin good
Travarius Ward.
Yep, just signed him. Nick
Cross,
good.
Jalen Jones, Kenny Moore.
Not as good as that one year he was on the top 100, but he's still a good corner.
This team is loaded.
Yeah.
This team is loaded. I ain't going to hold you. If they don't win the division, it's because of the QB.
Yep.
They should win the division going away. Oh, yeah, and by the way, how could I not forget? Let me show you real quick. Because I had this guy in fantasy.
Too. Oh, they got Lou Anarumo.
I got this guy. Lou Anarumo as the decoy. All right, bro. Let me show you something. Let me show you. Because I forgot. I had this guy in fantasy. Jonathan Taylor. By the way, side note, look how many people had over 300 carries last year. 6 running backs had over 300 carries. That's unheard of. Jonathan Taylor was number 5. He had 1,431 yards rushing and 11 touchdowns.
And he was dealing with injury too.
He only played 14 games and started 13 games. And by the way, he sold me though until the end of my fantasy season. He was pretty mediocre. He only came through when the playoffs was pretty much set. So I was a bit disappointed, Jonathan Taylor. You sold me. But the numbers in reality look great. Although 300 carries to get 1,400 yards is pretty crazy. And his yards after contact.
That's 4.7 yards a carry though.
No. It's great. But his yards, He's not good when it comes to yards after contact because I think he's 40th. I think he's 40th. Hold on. No, he's not 40th. I'm tripping. But he's ranked pretty low. I can't find him. Regardless, when I last checked, he was pretty low on yards after contact. He was pretty low. But yeah, he's talented. He still had another good year, only playing 14 games. Imagine he played the entire season. Oh my God. But Jonathan Taylor was great. This team is talented, man. I don't know what to say. This team is talented. There is no excuse. If Anthony Richardson, if Daniel Jones, if any of the QBs can't win with this roster, I don't know what to tell you.
Time to go back to the drawing board.
Pretty much. So do you agree? Would you say that this is the most talented roster in the division?
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Like just on paper, like they have dudes almost like pretty much everywhere.
You know, they were 8-9 last year. Like, they had the opportunity to potentially make the playoffs. They just had bad QB play. They were 8-9.
Yep.
So without further ado, let's rank these teams. Let's rank the division real quick. Let's rank the division. This is where it gets a bit tricky for me because the best quarterback is easily the Texans. They have the best quarterback. But the best roster is in Indianapolis, the Colts. I'll probably still go with the Texans. I'm still going to go Texans number one, just because they have CJ Stroud and they were able to get rid of Bobby Slowick and bring in an offensive coordinator that understands Stroud and what he wants. I like the Texans at number one. What about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Texans too. I feel like there's the biggest question marks for them is just going to be offensive line, and I feel like you could see improvement from that unit. But as far as like I would put the Colts, but the Colts have the biggest and most important question mark, which is the QB position. Can't put my trust in them.
I'll put Colts at 2. I think Colts will be number 2. Just that roster alone is just too good. And I think Daniel Jones, as bad as he is, all he has to do is the minimum. Just minimum work. You don't have to be great. You don't have to be good. You can just be average. And we saw they had a quarterback who was Gardner Minshew nearly take the team to the playoffs at 9-7, 9-8. If you can be a little bit better than Gardner Minshew, I mean, come on now. You can win 9 games with the squad.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd put the Colts at 2 just because the roster is just so good. They got peep dudes everywhere. So, yeah, I'm going to go Colts. 3 and 4 is where it gets a little tricky for me.
Yeah, because you have Titans team with a rookie QB who's immensely talented, but I do believe that the offense will be catered around Cam Ward. And then you have Jacksonville, who's bringing in a new head coach, and Liam Cohen. There's still a lot of unknowns about Liam Cohen. Is he a good leader of men? Can he really unlock Trevor Lawrence's potential? Damn.
I'm gonna go.
Damn. This is tough. I'm
gonna go with Jags and then Titans. I'm gonna go Jags, Titans in that order.
That's fair.
Because Liam Cohen coached the playoff team. Fortunately, they ran into freaking Jaden Daniels, but they almost won that game. You know, like you said, with the run game, Tanks Bigsby is prone for a good year. So I'm gonna go with that. I feel like I'm gonna go with the Jags.
I think I'm gonna go with the Jags as well. I just can't see the Jags with everything that's going on with the organization, with Trevor Lawrence getting paid all that money. I just can't see them finishing as the worst team. Yeah, especially when you get off of Press Taylor, you get off of Doug Peterson, you bring in an offensive mind that really brought Baker Mayfield to even a better level than what Dave Canales did as the offense coordinator. I just can't see that team all of a sudden going from even a worse position than what they already had with Doug Peterson and Press Taylor at the helm. I just can't see that happening. So I'm going to go with Jags at 3 and Titans at 4. And yeah, that's just where I'm at with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same page.
So yeah, that's all I gotta say for that matter. Think that'll do it for this episode of the Courtside View podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell, follow the socials, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of the Courtside View podcast NFL. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.
Salute.
All right.